And there goes my friendly neighborhood Arthur, screaming again. Okay, I've now connected my HDMI cable to my monitor. I've connected a power supply to it, which I've connected over here. I have an adapter here to go between my HDMI cable and one of my ports, one of my video ports, which I'm going to use that one right there. And I'm going to re-plug in my power, which just fired up, except here's the interesting thing. There's nothing for this thing to boot yet. Arthur has to be quieted. He does like attention. I cheated ahead of time, and I've preloaded an operating system on here. So, gently getting to the back of this system, nose up. Notice the components here? I'm going to slide this into the slot. This is probably the hardest thing you got to do because it's hard to get right into that little slot. Once you slot it in, I just put a 16 gig hard drive in this machine. Now, I'm going to power it on. You'll notice the green light flash in there. That means it's reading. Arthur makes more noise. You see the green light flashing? This is the first time this piece is booted up. So basically it's going to expand itself on the basic size of the drive. So this was the first step in coming up. While that's going on, I'm cleaning up. It will reboot itself. I'll wiggle the mouse around. You can see the unit is reading playing with its hard equivalent of hard drive. In this case, it's a 16 gig micro card. And I used one of these cards. And I happen to use my particular burner, which is going to be slightly different than the one you have. They're just same animal, 2 slots, USB plug. You may or may not, if you're using the knob system, it will ask you what operating system you want to load, and then it will download the operating system and install it. And you can see gently up here, we've got something going on, but we don't know what it is. But let's see what's going to happen. As in the old Zork game, time passes. I'm going to move this up a little bit so you can see the screen when it goes off. A lot of disk activity is going on. Now, by the way, while we're talking, if you want to back up this drive or add additional drives, you can just insert this guy in there and write on a, all right, welcome to the Raspberry Pi desktop. And where's my little mouse? Underneath here. Click over here. Next is pretty obvious. Where am I? I'm in the United States. I'm American English. I'm on Eastern Time Zone. I'm going to use English language, and I'm going to use a US keyboard. We need to know the country because we're going to do wireless connections, and wireless connections are different from country to country. So location is set up. At this point, it's going to ask me to put a username in and a password. I'm going to use Dan, and I'm going to use Danny Boy as my password. And it's giving me some options. Reduce the size of the desktop in this monitor? No. I'm going to go yes. It's now searching for networks, for Wi-Fi nets. We have handfuls in here. I'm going to use the one in my office. And I'm going to quietly put in a password, which I'm hiding because I don't want you guys hacking my home. Hopefully it's connecting. In the case of use at the CLE, you will have a connection to the CLE's guest network, and hopefully that will be given out to you as you go. Ooh, we couldn't connect to my, well, I'll connect to a different one. Let's go back and pick a different one. This one's a lot closer. Let's see what he says. But at this stage in time, it's going to ask if you want to update any software, simply because it's constantly updating. We always do some double checks. This is using a basic Linux administration system, which will let us do utilizing an application called apt-get. And it's just going to go out there and see if it's got the latest of everything that we need. It builds a table. We're not going to necessarily update all of the hardware right now, but we're just going to get to the point where we can open the desktop and start using the system, because that's what your first assignment is going to be. Somewhere along the line here, I'm going to have to learn how to stop and start or edit this stuff, but we will see. It'd be an education job for me as well as you. In fact, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put you on hold. Oh, well, let's see. No, he says he's getting updates. If that's what's going to go on, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute while this gets done.